the Patriots have now completed interviews with both Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton for their head coaching positions. I want to ask you guys, like, do you think either of these guys have a real shot at getting the Patriots head coaching job?
No, stop.
If Vrabel says he's in, he's in. Vrabel's the ones that got to make a decision. Once Vrabel makes his decision, then everything else I feel will fall into place. I almost forgot about old Leftwich, but that's how I feel, Coach. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Pep Hamilton.
Are you laughing?
I like Pep. I know Pep personally. Pep's a good ass dude, good dude, good offensive coach. This is the Rooney Rule, full in effect. This is a slap in the face of Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich, who have zero absolute negative. They have a negative shot at getting the job. They're in the negative, actually, and they took this because their agent said to, and it's a Rooney Rule situation, which, again, is just a slap in the fucking face, man. I'm so tired of seeing this shit. Like, stop. Byron Leftwich didn't even fucking coach in a significant manner. He was off the field analyst, wasn't he, last year?
Last year, yeah. After he left the Bucs or whatever, yeah.
All of a sudden, he's a head coach candidate over fucking Belichick and Pete Carroll and fucking Vrabel. And come on, man, stop. Listen, this is looking like a mockery organization right now. And Robert Kraft's running over there. Like, seriously, it looks like a joke. Like, we're just throwing shit at the wall right now to go through the process. He either knows who he's hiring, A, or he is just saying, we're doing all the boxes for the NFL and the LGBTQ and the fucking all these things that these paying people do
together, Coach Fred.
NFL corporations. Well, you know what I mean? This is a corporate sponsorship ran organization now, dog. The corporate sponsor and the corporate media is who runs the NFL. It's not the fan base that pay. It's the corporate sponsorships that pay. And now you got to adhere to a lot of this outside noise. And so now Rooney Rule kicks in. Black Monday was Monday. Coaches getting fired. AP gets fired the next day. Now you got all this different things going on. Now Vrabel going to go to Vegas. Who's going to take the New England job? If Vrabel takes the New England job, then you already know this was all fluff again. But what do I know? Tomorrow will be like, damn, JB, you were right. Why? How did these two interview today? And watch, mark my words, they'll name a head coach tomorrow. Just so we're clear, Fred knows what I'm talking about. You don't interview for jobs. And then an hour later, like Marvin Lewis did in Dallas, you name Mike McCarthy the head coach. Okay? It just doesn't fucking work. The dumbest people in the world think if that's how you think this operates, then you just don't know football. You don't know how the hiring process works. This is a slap in the face. Watch, they're gonna hire a guy tomorrow, and I hope Vrabel goes to Vegas for selfish reasons. But I understand his lineage and everything is attached to New England. But I also think that's a downfall. I think that is why he may not go to New England, because he knows what the fuck Kraft's doing over there. And he might be a lame duck owner. And he might be like, I'm staying away. He probably is doing the same thing with New York Jets. And he's probably like, I'm not fucking with Woody, who hasn't done shit in New York. And I got a lame duck 40-year-old quarterback who off the field antics are better and more, highlighted than his on the field antics. So listen, I think he can stay away from both of those East Coast franchises and come out west to Vegas, where at least you can have some autonomy and rebuild the place that lacks a lot. So I don't know. If I'm a coach, Fred, I don't know, Fred, how you think, but if I'm going to go build a program, I'd rather build Vegas than New England, like right now.
Let me ask you this. It has the same look if he takes the Vegas job with the Brady tie, right? As far as them getting rid of AP for him.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Brady and Vrabel play together. Remember, people keep associating Vrabel as a coach to Belichick. Vrabel never coached under Belichick. Never. He was a player. So you got to disassociate that part of it, because people keep talking about, because I brought it up before on my show years ago before Smitty. How many Belichick assistants have been good head coaches? Zero. Not one. Not never. And then people who are like, Vrabel wasn't a coach for Belichick. He played. So understand, he played with Brady. And Smitty will tell you right now, him and Sheldon Day's connection is much tighter than him and a fucking assistant coach that he had at Ball State. Like, it just is what it is. Like, you're going to be connected with your former boy as a player who shared a locker than you are with a former coach of yours. So Brady and Vrabel makes perfect sense to me. And that's the difference, and I want to make sure people understand, because ESPN, all these other fucks will talk about, oh, he was a Belichick. No, he wasn't. He never coached for Belichick. He beat Belichick, though, head-to-head in the playoffs, Tennessee. So I'm just saying, I think we need to disconnect that. Brady and him make sense to me, and that's why I've been saying it, and that's why I said it a month ago. I said Vrabel's going to be the next head coach in Vegas, and that was from an inside guy that told me that, but he looks like he might be dead on, because I think Vrabel gets the Raider job here in a couple hours.
Well, he gets that. I think the New England, I don't think it's either of those two. Like you said, I don't know Pep. I know the name.
Like, how dumb are we, Fred? Like, how dumb is America and the people out here who just don't understand it? And I'm, as a white boy, saying it is what people are going to have a problem with. How dumb are we, though, to think, you just fired a young brother fucking after a year? Why would you hire a young brother again who hasn't even been a head coach? Pep Hamilton has no head coaching experience. He coached in the USFL. So, like, what the fuck are we talking about? So now Kraft's going to just go, oh, well, I did it with Mayo, who has history with the organization. Let me hire two guys that have zero history. Get the fuck out of here, man. Why don't people start calling the truth out? Like,
what should black coaches do? I'm going to let Fred go for I don't want you to lose your thought, but I just got a follow-up question to that.
No, because I was just going to coattail what Coach said. I mean, at the end of the day, Vrabel takes that job out in Vegas. I'd be willing to go on Bet US, just like you, and put money down that is Josh McDaniels that is now going back to New England. And mind you, he has those ties. He's connected to the glory years. His name kind of floated just a little bit. And then, I think I know where you're about to go, Smitty. What was the guy that took the Lions job that was a Belichick's assistant? Defensive guy.
Patricia?
Matt Patricia, yep.
Matt Patricia got the opportunity that nobody would ever get. He's been a defensive guy for as long as you could ever think. And Belichick brought him back to call offensive plays after a failed stint in Detroit.
Same.
I mean, listen,
Smitty ain't getting that opportunity.
Nah, just go down the line, though. Charlie Weiss was a fucking horrific head coach. Romeo Crennel, who I love to death, great defensive mind. Horrific head coach. Bill O'Brien, fucking horrific head coach. I just keep going down the line. There's never been an assistant that's left him. And I used to ask my buddies that intern for Belichick, did these motherfuckers not take notes and sit in the goddamn meeting room? What are they doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, you didn't watch this motherfucker operate? I don't know. I don't get it, but it is what it is, man. I think Vrabel's better.
If it was one or two coaches, maybe we're just blaming those coaches. It's thinking like you guys wasn't taking notes, wasn't locked in, whatever. But it's every coach though. Like to your point, none of his assistants have done well. So at some point, I don't know. It makes you decide. Is something with Belichick?
Doesn't that like go back earlier and say like, and you almost want to come out and say, "Damn, JV, you're right. The head coach does matter."
No, I'm going on the flip side of like, and I guess it's not Belichick's job to maybe develop his assistant coaches. It's not really his job. I don't think.
Absolutely his job. Absolutely 1,000% his job.
It is his job.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
That's okay,
cool.
One job.
Okay, cool. Then. So to my point, I'm looking at Belichick differently. Then why are none of your assistants good coaches?
But the word has always been that, and I remember the rumblings out of Detroit when it got bad, is that he tried to be Belichick. I come out of JB's camp from his tree. I can't be JB because it's not authentic. It's not real. I can't. I can throw off a couple slap D's every now and then, but that ain't what I do. And then you're gonna see through that eventually because that's not me. That's not my personality. That's not who I am. Right. And the players in Detroit were saying that his fail was that he tried to be Belichick. There's only one cut off sleeve hoodie guy in the snow that can pull that off. That's him.
And
those
Smitty's
guys
point,
never have their own personalities.
Yeah.
And I want to argue with Smitty. This is the argument I would have. I would be like, number one, it's how the NFL hires. It's all about what have you done for me lately. So when Belichick won 7 damn titles or whatever, his whole staff was on the pecking order to be hired every which way. Every year, his staff was getting plucked because of what Belichick did. Belichick's on record saying, Matt Patricia, you weren't ready to be a head coach. You shouldn't go. He said he wanted to try it. That's on you. It's not Belichick. Belichick was still priming you. And it's on you as an assistant to be the head coach of your position group. And if you aren't the head coach of your position group under the tutelage of Bill Belichick, that's on you. And the bottom line is, NFL and these hiring processes rush the job hire. They rush it all the time.
So none of them was ready. Belichick coached for 20-some years. Ain't none of his assistants 20-some years was ready. I mean, that's hard to believe.
Mike
McDaniel got assistants that was ready. Other great coaches had assistants that was ready.
You're using a broad ass statement. You're saying 20-something years of him coaching. That doesn't mean in year one that the OC got the head job after 1 year with Belichick. You got to break this down, homie. This is a macro level thinking thing right here, not micro level. This guy coached for 20 years. Coached for 20 years, Smitty. That doesn't mean everyone was coaching with Bill for 20 years and then got the job, homie.
Of course, I get it. I'm just saying that when we look at Andy Reid, we look at some of these other great coaches. They got people from their tree who went on and did well. You know, that's all I'm saying, homie.
Name me somebody from Andy Reid's tree.
Andy Reid from the tree of he's from the Eagles. Who was the head coach before? Who was he under? The Packers, right? Andy Reid was under the Packers' old head coach.
That's not what we asked you. That's not what we asked you, homie. It's not what we asked you where he coached. We asked you to name us some motherfuckers that coached for Andy Reid that's successful.
Listen, man, I'm gonna say this.
Andy Reid was with Gruden, and Andy Reid was with McCarthy, and Andy Reid was with fucking Andy Reid, by the way, is a Bill Walsh disciple and Dennis Green disciple, and he's a San Francisco State disciple underneath a bunch of legendary guys. Dirk Cutter, one of them. So I can break down lineages of trees, but
no, I mean the coach in my mind is Doug Peterson, though.
Andy doesn't have a lot of guys under him that are winning either.
I'm saying Doug Peterson under this tree, a Super Bowl winning champion, or am I tripping?
You said what? You said what? I didn't hear you.
Is Doug Peterson underneath the Andy Reid tree, or do I got that wrong?
I think he coached QBs for Andy for a year or two.
And then he's Super Bowl winning champion. So I mean, he got it. So I least got one example of a guy who reached the highest levels who was underneath him. So all I'm saying is,
who did he win the Super Bowl with?
The Eagles.
And who was his quarterback?
Nick Foles.
No, man, he ended up, but who got him to that? In his prime.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, you've got to come on, Smitty. It's that.
It's crazy too. You know what it is crazy too? Like these motherfuckers in here talking about Tomlin didn't do nothing. Like, okay, so it's Bill Cowher's team. He took it on. But Peterson didn't take Andy Reid's team then? Like, you motherfuckers are so crazy.
Well, Andy Reid got fired after a bad year. I'm not saying he should have got fired away, but I think Andy Reid didn't leave the Eagles on top. When he left,
what I'm saying is the structure, infrastructure, culture was built. It was built, and Peterson knew about it. And Peterson took it and ran and won a Super Bowl. And then he was fired.
Andy got fired after.
He was fired.
Yeah, Andy fired.
Andy got fired. Andy got fired. Yeah.
Yeah, but Andy got fired because of consecutive losses, if I'm not mistaken, in the first round. Yeah. So it wasn't like they were bottom feeders.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you for sure.
And he took him to the Super Bowl. By the way.
Listen, I'm not trying to diss Belichick. You guys made me question it again. I've never coached, so again, that's why I was asking y'all. I'm like, okay,
I'm not dissing Belichick. Yeah. I'm just circling all the way back to the two guys that just hired in the same day. I mean, interviewed in the same day. For that organization, knowing, as Coach was saying, when you walk out of the building, I'm passing Smitty. Oh, you interviewing today too? Okay, cool. Good luck. And then before I get in the car, I see Mike Vrabel's car over there. What's crazy? What am I here for if he's here? Oh, I get it. You've got to turn that paperwork in that says you interviewed.
And I'll be honest with you, these guys, Smitty, these guys will use your name to get the pool of applicants increased.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, there's so much to this game that no one wants to talk about. A JUCO may call me and ask me to interview, knowing damn well. That's why I stopped doing it. I won't interview because I tell them straight out, no, I'm not being used as a fucking enhancer for your pool. When you won't use, you're never going to hire me because you're scared and pussy to hire me because you don't want the optics and all this old shit. Well, guess what? Everyone says JB's applying for the fucking whoop-de-whoop. Oh, what? If JB's applying, then I gotta go apply. Fred's gonna apply. Smitty gonna apply because JB's applying, so it must be a good job.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a shithole job, and you don't understand the whole process that goes into it. And that is why these people out here, these young cats, are, oh, JB's applying, it must be legit. No, they're using my name to enhance their pool to get some attraction. And then at the end of the day, then they'll say, oh, JB didn't get it. We just couldn't fuck with you because, yeah, right. Fuck you. I'm not going after the job, dumb fuck.
So y'all think black coaches in the NFL should just stop interviewing there?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. The Rooney Rule. Now, that's my whole thing because Brian Leftwich turns down an interview with the Patriots. He'll never get another interview. He'll never get another opportunity.
And Fred, I had Marshall Faulk on my show, and I've talked to Marvin Lewis the day after he interviewed from Dallas, and we've discussed this in depth. And Marshall agrees with me and you 100%. At some point, though, to make a stand, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everybody we talk about, the heroes of the world, you gotta have to make a stand and say enough is enough too. Because
I'm not going.
We continue to take these token interviews, and I understand how hard it is because those are priceless. I don't give a fuck. An interview is priceless regardless if you get it or not. The job. The process of the interview is priceless. But at the end of the day, like Marshall said, man, we gotta get together, band together, and say, hey, man, we're being used as pawns too, just like JB just talked about. We gotta say, fuck you, fuck your interview. Show me, because listen, we gotta be real, Smitty. The agents in this business all know each other. And the agents in the NFL already know who the head coach is gonna be. And Marvin Lewis said it to Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk said it to me. We already knew McCarthy got the job. So then why did you interview? And all you're doing is adhering to a policy that the good old folks and boys run, the NFL. And the owners, 32 of them being white, own and run the NFL. So you're just adhering to their policy. You're not doing it for your betterment. You're doing it for their betterment, to adhere to a rule and up to an upset to come up and say, all right, well, we met the criteria of the Rooney Rule. But the kid or the coach we're interviewing don't get no benefit. He actually is just like, it's fucked up. It is what it is. I don't believe we should have a Rooney Rule. I've talked to several black coaches who agree with me. Why the fuck should we have a Rooney Rule? Why? And this is coming from other black folks that I talk to on a daily basis saying, why do we have Black History Month? By the way, it's the shortest month. But we got fucking LGBTQ month celebrated for fucking 6 months. So I don't understand why we have to do it.
You in a whole nother area now. I guess what I'm saying is this though.
But you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
My point is, it should just be normal. Like
the best. It should be. But what should be and what is ain't the same. Go ahead, Coach Fred.
No, because to Coach's point, there's nowhere in your resume where you put down I interviewed for the Coach JB show.
Nope.
There's nowhere that goes on the resume. So it doesn't do me any good other than you being able to flash me across the ticker saying that I interviewed, for you to be able to send your paperwork into the NFL and say, I interviewed Smitty, I interviewed Fred, I interviewed I reached the number that I had to get so I don't get fined. But at some point, like Coach said and Falk was saying, at some point, I'm not going if this is not real. And my agent would know if this is real or not, because he's probably the same guy that represents, and I'm just using the name, Mike Vrabel. Well, they've already contacted me about the terms. I'm just waiting on him to tell me, yeah, you're not taking this interview. Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know and kind of go from there. So, that's my whole thing. I mean, if you look at it, it all continues to get recycled. Josh McDaniels will get another opportunity. My guy at the Mike when the Dolphins can McDaniel. because it's going to happen. It's either going to be him or Tyreek. You can write it down. He'll get another opportunity. But it just kind of it recycles itself. But the recycling is not happening with Mayo. It's not happening with AP. And that's where I think the problem needs to be addressed.
Hey, was Aaron Glenn named the Saints coach, or is that just a rumor that he's going to get the job? Because I hear Aaron Glenn's a shoo-in in New Orleans, so I like that hire.
That's the
He deserves
rumor.
it. He's done a
That's
good
the
job.
rumor. I don't know if they're waiting to see, how the playoffs play out for him or whatever, but that's the rumor.
I want to know where
on
Brian
this end.
Flores is, though, because Brian Flores has had a top 5 defense all year long on one of the best teams in the NFL. And
He self-promoted the other day.
Everything about
the other
Miami.
day.
Good. Everything he said about the Dolphins organization has come to true fruition. It's come to full fruition. Everything he said is true about
right down to the quarterback. Yep.
Everything. The owner, and by the way, I believe he's a Belichick if we want to talk about coaches, because I think he at least was like an intern or something for Belichick for a few years, and he beat Belichick 2 out of 3 years in Miami as a head coach. So, I want to know where he lands, because he's done a great job, and I thought he was doing a great job in Miami as the head coach. I want to see where he ends up getting.
Well, by what he said the other day, I don't think he's being contacted, because he said that he would interview for any and every job that offered him the opportunity to interview. So I don't think he's really hot like that right now, Coach. To be honest, for him to come out and say that to me is saying, hey, somebody.
Reach out.
I just want you to. I'm here.
He's saying that
somebody.
I got blackballed. He's saying I got JB'd. I got fucking blackballed because I said the truth about these owners. And let's be real. and now you got these 32 white motherfuckers there about to say, you ain't getting another job. Because I'm just saying, he got blackballed in Miami, and we can say what we want. He went against the grass. Like, he went against the fucking brass grass. And I'm just telling you. And I love that Tomlin got him in there and brought him in and got him back in the market, and then they hired him. But he's been a head coach. He actually has it on his resume, and that's the problem I have, because you'll go and jump him and hire one of these OCs because they're flashy and they belong. Oh, well, Caleb Williams needs an OC. No, he don't. He needs a head coach. Flores has been a head coach. None of these other motherfuckers we're talking about has been a head coach. So I just can't stand it, man. I hate to see it. I want to see this motherfucker do it. And I don't know how Mike McDaniel, skinny jeans wearing ass, is still head coach. Like, why is he not fired today or Monday?
Well, his excuse is going to be, we missed the playoff because my quarterback got hurt again, concussion, and he missed 4 some games. But when he came in, when Tua came back and was healthy, we started winning. So that's his excuse. His excuse is when Tua's healthy, we go to the playoffs. So like he has reached success for Miami for their standard. Their bar was very low. Miami was really bad for a long time. Mike McDaniel got there, said he wanted about his personality, how he dressed, all that. He did help uplift that, and he did find some sort of connection with Tua, albeit we may disagree of how or whatever, because I'm a Flores guy as well. I'm more motivated by his style of coaching, I would say, than it is like a Mike McDaniel. But to each his own. Mike McDaniel found a connection with Tua and has found the best version of Tua that we've seen as far. So, like, that's why I don't think he's gotten fired, because he's done decently with him.
Like, why do we keep forgetting what Flores said is absolutely true? Again, to my point, his best version is shit. Tua's best version is a soft-ass offensive coordinator running the show for a soft-ass head coach who calls the plays. I'm calling Tua the offensive coordinator because he's on the field coordinating everything he does from the snap to the throw. I'm calling the play caller the head coach, who Mike McDaniel, who is coordinating it out to him, who's also very soft. Flores said, I don't even want Tua. And everybody lost their mind. He said, I don't even want this guy. So if we want to really talk about what Mike McDaniel's done to get the most out of him, I can argue and say, well, Flores literally has the same record at the time of his firing, and literally has the same exact record and did it exactly his way. And now you want to say, oh, well, this guy's made Tua so good. That's Flores' point. That's as good as he'll ever be, because he's not available half the time, and he'll never get you over the hump. So Flores was spot ass on. This is the team that he should be fired. It's a you problem. Antonio Pierce just got fired for not having a quarterback, homie. Fucking, we just got other guys getting fired for not having a quarterback.
But it's not the same though. Like if no, it's not. If this was Mike McDaniel's first season as the Dolphins head coach, and this was the result, then maybe you would have more of a point.
No,
he has a little bit of a history with the Dolphins of again reaching the playoffs and fighting for the division and having success. AP, not whether it's his fault or not, only had 1 year. He had a year and a half. We'll call it a year and a half, and didn't reach any levels of success. Whether it's his fault or not, those are the actual facts. I'm not dissing him. That's what.
And guess what?
It's not the same thing. Mike McDaniel, you ain't got to like Mike McDaniel, which I know you don't, but you can't remove the facts. He took to the playoffs. Point my beard. That for Dolphin standards, that's fucking success based upon their recent history.
Didn't Flores go playoffs or no?
No.
Never?
No.
But they had the same record, though, I think.
Look it up.
No, I'm legitimate asking because I don't think he did go to playoffs.
I think he had a season where he was like maybe a game out where they might have went like 9-8 or something like that, and they were game out.
Nah, I think they were like 9-7.
Yeah, or 9. Yeah, it was 9-7 or whatever. Baby, you can look it up when you get a chance to confirm that.
I don't think he went to the playoff, but he was the one that inherited Tua when he did not want to draft him.
Right. So you remember Tua was splitting reps with Fitzpatrick. It was like a lot going on. Like, yeah.
He didn't want him. The problem is you got AP who actually can control a locker room, players respect, and then in Miami you got a guy that fucking walking around there where guys are being fined for being late, but continue to be fined for being late because they're continuing to be late. So make sense, homie, because that means you have no control of your locker. That means you can find me all you want. I'm still going to be late because we don't fucking respect you. And that's the problem in Miami. It's way more than just a Tua concussion away from ending a career. It is much more. The leader of the locker room is soft.
So Brian Flores, in his 3 seasons with Miami, he started off 5-11 in 2019, 2020 went 10-6, and 2021 9-8.
So 10-6, he didn't make the playoffs.
Did he make the playoffs 10-6?
Sorry, you said what?
The 10-6 season, did he make the playoffs that year?
I'll figure that out.
That's the question. I thought one of those years he went to the playoffs, but
regardless, 10-6 is a hell of a record, even if he did miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's a good ass record. Yeah.
Well, that's what I say. My point is his record overall is the same, I think, right now than
over a 3-year span or whatever. I got you. And then the other thing that comes into that also, Smitty, to me, that's not talked about enough is and I'll just use AP because he's in the conversation. Yeah. If AP doesn't have control over who we're drafting or who we are trading for and stuff like that, he shouldn't be the only one that's walking out that door. The general managers. Yeah. And that's the thing. And to me, that's an even bigger issue. And I think that's why guys like JB aren't in there because they want full autonomy. If I'm giving JB the job, JB's already told me the only way I'm taking it is I get to say who we draft. I get to say who we trade for, who we cut or whatever, because at the end of the day, who's being judged for those wins and losses?
Head coach. Yep.
The wins and losses. Right. I'm just telling you.
And to your point, AP wanted Jaden Daniels. He made that clear, and they didn't do anything to try to trade in the draft or do anything to get him. You know what I'm saying?
But what do I know? Fucking know? Why don't we rewind the show and go back a year? And I said AP will last 1 year because he wanted Jaden Daniels, and it's going to be very critical to his success. If he's allowed to trade for him, he'll be in Vegas for several years. If he's not, he'll be one and done. I said it on this show a year ago. He wasn't allowed to get Jaden Daniels in the trade, and I said that is cutting his autonomy off, and he doesn't have it because they're considering him as a lame duck interim head coach, and they're going to give him a year. They'll give him a year as a lame duck interim, and if he had full autonomy, I said it on the show, he'd be there for several years because they would have got Jaden Daniels in a trade. But no, and now look he's gone.